Well, first of all, I have every sympathy for the Egyptians because, of course, tourism is vitally important to their economy. I want to restore our links and our flights with Egypt as soon as is safe and is possible. But, I have to put the safety and want to put the safety of British people first. Now, if that Russian airliner was brought down by a terrorist bomb, that does have very real implications, and it means it's absolutely essential that we see that improvement of security at Sharm el-Sheikh Airport. And that's what I'll be discussing with the Egyptians today, and we'll be working round the clock with our experts to help put that in place. I also feel huge sympathy for British holidaymakers, those who are about to go on holiday, who have had to unpack their bags and stay at home. That'll be deeply disappointing to them. And also, I'm worried too about the 20,000 British people in Sharm el-Sheikh, many of whom now are overdue for coming home and will be wanting to come home, and we'll do everything we can to help them. But I want to make sure they can come home safely. That's what all of this is about.
A lot of those people in Sharm el-Sheikh will be watching this. What can you say to them about when they're likely to get back?
Well, what I can say is we're working round the clock with the Egyptians to put in place the necessary security measures at the airport to give every assurance that they can come back safely. As I say, we cannot be certain that the Russian airliner was brought down by a terrorist bomb. But because it's a strong possibility, it's right to act. It's right to act quickly. It's right to act on the advice that we receive. It's right to act on the intelligence that we have. We discuss this with others in Europe. We discuss it with the Americans. I'll be calling President Putin in a moment or two to discuss this with him as well. But my view is that my job is to take the action necessary to protect the interests of British citizens and British lives. So to those people in Sharm el-Sheikh who are overdue coming home, we'll do everything we can to bring you home, but it must be bringing you home safely.
No time scale, because the Foreign Minister was saying this morning maybe starting tomorrow.
We want to start as soon as possible. I mean, there are a relatively simple and straightforward set of things that need to happen at Sharm el-Sheikh Airport to give us the certainty, the greater certainty of safety at that airport, and then the aeroplanes, which are there on the tarmac in Sharm el-Sheikh, can load up those passengers and bring them home. More airlines will be flying out in the normal way, but of course they'll be flying out empty. Not British passengers going to Sharm el-Sheikh, but they'll be flying to Sharm to bring people back. And then, of course, we aim, working with the Egyptians, to put in place the security measures that are necessary for the long term so we can restart flights between Britain and Sharm el-Sheikh. I know to the Egyptians how important this is. I look forward to discussing it with them today. The links between our countries are strong. The enjoyment British tourists have out of going to Sharm el-Sheikh, very, very positive. But it's not right at the moment to continue those flights. That's why we need to take that action.
You said you were going to talk to President Putin. Russian aircraft continue to fly out of the airport. Do you think they're wrong? And what are you going to share intelligence with Mr. Putin?
Well, it's obviously a matter for the Russians about whether they continue to fly. If you look at what other countries have done, the Americans have changed their travel advice to Sharm el-Sheikh. They did that after seeing particular intelligence and concerns that they had. Because of what I've been briefed about, the intelligence I've seen, and the briefing I've had from experts and officials, I think it was right to stop our planes from going to Sharm el-Sheikh and right to stop people returning until we have that security put in place. I'll obviously discuss all of this with President Putin and explain to him why we've taken the action we've taken. But obviously the action he takes about Russian tourists, that will be a matter for him.
Finally, the fact that we are concerned that this is an ISIS potential bomb on a plane, it does seem a higher level of sophistication than we've seen from ISIS before. Is this a concern for the wider aviation industry?
Well, of course, we'll have to look at the implications of all of this. As I say again, we don't know for certain that it was a terrorist bomb. There's still an investigation taking place in Egypt. We need to see the results of that investigation. The reason we've acted before that is because of intelligence and information we had that gave us the concern that it was more likely than not it was a terrorist bomb. Now, if that turns out to be the case, and even before we have that confirmed, of course we'll look at all of the implications, because my job is to keep British people safe wherever they are in the world, and that means working with partners like the Egyptians to make sure that happens.
Prime Minister, thank you very much.